Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. I want to talk to you about another Christmas song to take into the weekend. This one's one that dates from the 1800s, the verse does. And I'll give you a hint. What does this song, Christmas Carols, have in common with the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere? Answer. This is a Christmas song written by the poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who wrote Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, I think Song of the Hiawatha. He was a famous guy in the mid-1800s, but life took its toll on poor Longfellow, and his wife died tragically in a fire. He fell into a deep depression. And even though he was always a pacifist and against violence, his son, without his blessing, enrolled in the Union Army during the Civil War, just leaving a note behind that in essence said, "Dad, I've tried hard to resist the temptation of going without your leave or blessing, but I cannot any longer." And so his son just split, went to the army. Less than a year after that, Longfellow got that note that every parent who's got a child in the military just feared. And it was one that said his son had been injured in a skirmish with the Confederate troops. The skirmish had happened in Virginia, and he was in a Virginia hospital or was headed to one. And so Longfellow packed up and went and searched everywhere, and after about 3 days finally found his son. His son was going to live through this, but it was a really, really tough time and a tough Christmas. And even though Longfellow hadn't written anything for some time, Longfellow decided at that point that he would put some pen to paper. And he wrote a song, the lyrics of which I heard the bells on Christmas Day. There's a great version Casting Crowns did recently. But listen to some of these lyrics in light of that. I heard the bells on Christmas Day. Their old familiar carols play. And mild and sweet their song repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Now he's writing this with his son having just been really hurt in the Civil War. The war's been raging for 3 years, and you're not surprised to hear him add some more to the lyric. He said, "And in despair, I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said. For hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men." But he keeps hearing the bells, and the bells are still playing, and the bells are still singing. And finally, he comes back to this position of faith that says the wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. And that is the story and the lesson that all of us need to know in Christmas time, but in any time. And that is that this life is a struggle, and there are difficulties. There are times of respite and times that feel good, but everybody will find struggles and difficulties. And yet we have an assurance that God will win, and there will be peace on earth, at least within the realm of his kingdom one day when this world is over. And so we can ring with those bells and celebrate peace on earth. Even as there's war going overseas, there may be war in your home, there may be war in your community, there may be, but we know that God is calling out for and ushering in his peace on earth, goodwill to men. And that is your video thought for today.